Today we are doing a wrap-up video. I don't think I've ever done a wrap-up video before on my channel, so this is gonna be really fun. I'm excited to do this because we're just gonna be talking about books today. All the books that I've read so far in 2025. As of today, it is June 25th. So these will be all the books that I've read so far this year, and that is a grand total of 10 books. Yeah, 6 months I have read 10 books, and you know what? I'm happy about this number. Would I want it to be a little bit more? Absolutely, since my Goodreads reading goal is 50. Doesn't look like I'm gonna hit 50, so my new goal is 30? I don't know. My true goal is to just read more books and be happy and just choose to read books more over my phone. I need to stop going on my phone. Let's go over these 10 books. Well, there's 9 books here. The 10th book, I actually borrowed it from the library, and I haven't bought a physical copy for myself yet because I'm kind of on a bit of a book buying ban. I'm definitely gonna have to buy that book soon though. I need it. I need a physical copy of that book. I loved it so much, but we'll get into that. I'm just gonna hold it right here because we're gonna talk about some statistics. In total, I have read 10 books and I have read 3,894 pages. And genre breakdown, I read a total of 8 romance books and 2 fantasy books, and my star average is 4.1 star rating. So yeah, that is pretty high because it's not that hard for me to enjoy a book. So I think I'm a pretty easy rater. I'm not a harsh rater at all. I just love reading, and if I enjoyed it, I'm gonna rate it a good number. So yeah. I'm still trying to figure out my rating system as I read more and see what I like and what I don't like, but as of right now, I've had a good reading year so far. So yeah, let's get into these books. I really hope this doesn't fall. Okay, I'm gonna kind of be looking down because I'm gonna be referencing my book journal. It's just right here. Because a thing about me, I don't have a really good memory. Read a book and then I'll completely forget what I read after I finished it. I don't know why. So I need to work on that. So what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna try to start writing down notes on my phone while I'm reading. So maybe that will help me remember my thoughts more. So yeah, anyways, that was just a disclaimer kinda that I'm not the best at giving reviews. So just so you guys know, I'm just gonna let you know if I liked it or not. Alright, and what my rating was and all that stuff. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into my mid-year wrap-up. Okay, so the first book I read in 2025 is Twilight. What an iconic way to start my year, honestly. I have been wanting to read Twilight ever since I watched the movies. I've been wanting to read this, and I'm so happy that I finally did. I rated this book 5 stars. If you guys don't know what this book is, I feel like you do most likely. These are basically YA, and this is a romance. I believe it's also fantasy. So yeah, because vampires and werewolves. So yeah, it makes sense. I am a huge fan of the movies, so I needed to read the books, especially since I've started my reading journey. I really need to get back into reading the books that I missed out on back when I was a teenager, like the Divergent series, Fault in Our Stars, Twilight, Harry Potter, all those books I didn't read. The Hunger Games, I haven't read any of those books yet. Oh my gosh, I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved comparing and contrasting the books to the movies. It was just so cool to see the differences between the two. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. If you don't know, it's basically about vampires and werewolves and this girl named Bella who can't decide on who she likes. Bella is an interesting character, especially in this book. Wow, I learned so much more about her than I did in the movie. As you can tell, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I annotated it heavily. I love my copy now. I think this is so pretty. Yeah, I love annotating my books, and I actually thrifted this book. I wanted the OG cover instead of the new covers they're releasing. They're just not my favorite. These are so much better in my opinion. That is Twilight, my first read of 2025. Okay, second book I read in 2025 is The Roommate by Rosie Danon. This I rated 3 stars. So 3 stars to me means that I enjoyed it. It was a solid read. I definitely recommend it, but I'm not like raving about it when I recommend it. So yeah, here's the premise from what I remember. Let me look down at my notes. I'll just say that it's roommates to lovers. Obviously this is a romance book, so they're gonna fall in love, the main characters. What I remember is forced proximity. So they were roommates. And yeah, the couple was pretty solid. Like, I really enjoyed their dynamic together, and it was really interesting because they were strangers and then having to move in together to a house and just become roommates. The male main character, Josh, he has an interesting career, and that was really fun to read about. And she loves to read, kind of like very good girl, very organized, that kind of thing. So seeing her dynamic with him was very interesting, and also the literal job he does was just so fun to read about, honestly. Overall, solid book, but I'm just like, as you can see, I mean, this was like, I read this book in February, so it's been a while and my memory isn't that good. I do think it is a good book. I just don't really remember that much about it, so yeah, 3 stars. Third book I read after that was my first ever fantasy book, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I love this book because I annotated it, and as you can see, I don't know, I just love when I annotate my books, especially heavily like this, because then if I ever want to reread it, I could go back and read the things that I scribbled in the margins, you know? Like, I love that part about annotating, and if I ever loan this book to somebody, they can read what I wrote. That's scary, but also really cool. They're gonna be literally in my mind. That's scary. That actually is scary. Never mind. Do I want them to be in my mind? I just love that I annotated it. It's just so fun to flip through. Annotating helps me because then I can kind of really analyze what I'm reading and really take it in. I don't know. I need to do this to a lot of books so that I really can remember what I'm reading. Yeah, Fourth Wing. You guys probably know this book. You probably know this entire series is the Empyrean series. This is book 1. This is a 5-star book for me, 100%. Like, this was my first fantasy. Everyone says this is a great book to start with in your fantasy journey because it's easier and it's not a lot of world building. There is a little bit, but it's not like so hard. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of little like, what's going on? Like, where's that at? You know, like, what places, where are they? So there's definitely times where I'm a little confused, but my solution is the only way I can read these books to really get immersed in it is if I do immersive reading. I think that's what it's called. So listening to the dramatized audiobook while reading / annotating. That was how I read this book. I'm really happy I did that because it helped me so much really understanding this book, because at the end of the day, it is a fantasy and it was my first one, so I was a little nervous. But overall, I had the best time reading about Violet and Xaden and the entire Basgiath College and the friend. It's kind of like found family, and I'm so obsessed with the dragons. I love that. So yeah, overall, I had the best time reading it, and it just really feels like you're watching a movie when you're reading it. Also, I know I loved this because while I was reading this book, I was looking up fan art of Xaden and Violet and the dragons. Did I spoil some things for myself while doing that? Yes, but I think it was worth it because I needed to see visuals. I am a visual, like, I love visuals. Hi, Cody. It just helps me while I'm reading. And I posted a video of me reading this book. Check that video out if you want to see me read this book because I vlogged it. I also cried. I had a lot of emotions, a lot of different types of emotions while reading this book. And that is so amazing that a book in general can make me feel happy, sad, scared, have so much anxiety. Literally my heart, I was like, oh my gosh, there's certain scenes where I was like freaking out, so worried, and then I'm sad, I'm crying. Like, it's just insane how a book can do that. So for that, 5 stars, loved it. I had an amazing time reading this book. Iron Flame. Yes, I did in fact read Iron Flame after I read Fourth Wing. This is the second book in the Empyrean series, and it's huge. I think like over 600 pages in this book. So yeah, very big, very intimidating. I rated this book 4-ish, 4.5 stars. I liked it. I liked it because we're going back into the world that I loved. Yeah, I actually don't want to speak much about this because this is the second book in the series. I don't really remember much about this book, to be quite honest. I actually, to prepare myself for Onyx Storm, I need to do a recap on YouTube. I need to go find a YouTube video recap real quick to re-jog my memory because it has been a while since I read this book. I read this book in April, so yeah. But I did really enjoy what I read. I think I didn't do as much annotating in this book. Actually, I did not annotate this book at all, so that's probably why I don't really remember as much as I should. I actually was listening to the audiobook mostly, entirely, and reading on my Kindle, which was a fun experience. I was reading on the treadmill in the gym, so that was actually really fun. But yeah, I kind of do remember some things that happened in here, but I can't tell you a good summary about that, and I don't want to because that would be a spoiler. So just know that I did enjoy this book when I was reading it, and as of right now, I'm really excited to get back into this world with Onyx Storm. I just need to prepare myself. Didn't like it as much as Fourth Wing because I think Fourth Wing was just a classic. Like that was just like the first book in this series, you know, and it was just something that I've never read before, and it hit different than this book, obviously, because it's just the first book. So yeah, that's why it's rated 5 stars, and this one's like 4.5. All right, and then after that, I picked up The Final Rose by Amy Olvera. This I rated 3 stars, and this book is actually a probably smut book. Yeah, I love that subscription, that book subscription box so much. So this one, as you can tell from the cover, is basically bachelor coded, and I loved that, honestly. I love seeing the behind the scenes of shows like that, and this is cool because it's about the bachelor and a producer on the show, and it's their romance. Yeah, very cool. So what is that, like forbidden? It's a forbidden romance, technically a workplace romance. Actually, yeah, a workplace romance. She's grumpy and he's sunshine. Is that like reverse grumpy sunshine trope? There's also Latin representation in this, and overall I really enjoyed it. It was good, you know, it was a solid read. I had fun reading this book. I annotated it a little bit, and I loved how quick it was, and honestly, for it being so small, there was a lot going on in here, which I was very nicely surprised about. This was a 3 star, just a solid read, but again, I don't really remember that much enough to be like raving to you guys, so yeah, solid 3 stars. Definitely pick it up if you guys are interested. I believe it's on Kindle Unlimited, so if that helps. Okay, so next I read The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. I rated this book 3 stars. Again, another solid romance. Nothing to write home about, but definitely a good book that you guys should pick up. This, I believe, was a popular book talk book back in the day. I think at that time I wasn't really into reading. I'm happy that I finally knocked this book out of my physical TBR. I've had this book on my physical TBR for a very long time. Everybody loved this book. It's enemies to lovers. It's workplace romance. The banter and the tension in this book, so good. Made me giggle. I love banter and tension. So this was just perfect. Yeah, very solid read. And also, this book was turned into a movie starring Lucy Hale, and I made Kyle watch it with me, and we loved it. Or at least I did. But it wasn't a bad movie. It really wasn't. I had a great time watching it. It was so good. I loved seeing Lucy Hale as the main girl character, which her name is Lucy. Perfect. It was literally perfect. Honestly, such a good, what are they called? Rom-coms? Yeah, not my favorite book, but it's also one of those books that I will definitely recommend. Very good. Oh, and actually, let me mention before I forget, I read these books all in a video that is on my channel, my first 24-hour reading vlog. So if you guys are interested on more thoughts about these books, check that video out. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This was a 5-star read. I loved this book so much. I had the best time reading this, the actual best time. Like, I think it was just the perfect time for me to read it. I finally got around to it. This book has been on my physical TBR, again, the same amount of time as The Hating Game, honestly. This is a romance book. It's YA, so cute. If you love movies, you will love this book. Specifically rom-coms. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So as of right now, I am not gonna buy the second book because it is hardcover, and also I can just get it at the library. So that's what I'll be doing if I ever decide to pick up the second book. I'm so curious. This book right here is just so good. Liz and Wes are so cute together. This takes place in high school. It's basically fake dating. I think it is now like one of my favorite tropes. So, so cute. And this was also friends to lovers, childhood friends to lovers, childhood friends to enemies to lovers, that kind of thing. I don't know. I really don't want to tell you guys much about this because I think this is a book you just have to go into. I really hope you enjoy it if you haven't read it yet and you pick this up. I hope you have an amazing time reading because I did. There are some really cute quotes in here, and Lynn Painter really knows how to take you back into high school and, I don't know, have those first crush feelings again and just like a first love kind of thing. It was just overall so cute. And also every chapter begins with a quote from a famous rom-com, which I loved. I loved that. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is like one of my favorite movies. It's such a comfort movie for me, and it's mentioned in here, and that just made me so happy. So yeah, overall, loved this book, you guys, if you couldn't tell. It definitely lived up to the hype for me. 100%. 100%. So yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about it right now because I could go on and on about it. So yeah, pick this book up. It's just so good. Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This book I rated 3 stars. I enjoyed this book, but it's not one of my favorites, but I had a good time. Basically, this book is fake dating, which I did enjoy, and also workplace romance, enemies to lovers. I kind of didn't really get into this book until like maybe halfway. I don't remember what I said in the video. It took me a while to kind of get invested in the characters and to really care about them to where I'm like rooting for them. So that was an indicator for me that it's probably not going to be a 5-star book for me. This was my second Ali Hazelwood book, and this is definitely not going to be my last. I do enjoy her writing. I also remember seeing a couple from The Love Hypothesis. I love when books do that, when they're intertwined like that, because I love seeing the people that I've read before in those, like, it's in the same world. So it's just so cool. I love that. It's just, I don't know. I think it's awesome. It's like a crossover episode. Okay, the next book I read that I am sadly not able to hold physically in my hands because I do not own it is Not in My Book by Katie Holt. I loved this book so much. I rated this book 5 stars. I also posted a video about this, a reading vlog dedicated to this book, and it is called Falling in Love with the Library Book, I believe. Check that video out if you want to know more details and see me reading this book. Oh my gosh, you guys, I loved it so much. Truly loved it. Like, this was a library book, and I'm so happy that I did borrow this book from the library, but also I'm like so sad because I would have annotated that book so heavily if I actually had my own copy while I was reading it. I would have had so much fun annotating it, but it's okay. I borrowed it and I utilized my library, and I love that for me, and I love doing that, and I want to do that more. So can't be mad, but I'm just a little sad. I'm just gonna say it's a little bit of fake dating, a little bit, kinda, and it's enemies to lovers, and it's forced proximity, and there's book excerpts within this book, which I love. I'm actually like, I need more books like this because that is probably one of my favorite things as well. Fake dating and books. Like, if a book is talking about a book, if the main characters are writing a book, I like that. I love if they're readers. I love if the people I'm reading about also love reading and they so happen to write books. That's just amazing. So yeah, the main characters, were Rose and Aiden. And also another thing I loved about this book that actually stood out to me was that the female main character, Rosie, she is actually Peruvian American, and I am a little bit Peruvian. So I just love seeing that in a book because I just think it's so cool to be able to read more about that. Yeah, you guys, I really had the best time reading this book. I was giggling, kicking my feet, like truly, like I think I even shed a tear. I really enjoyed this book, you guys. I can't not say anything bad about it. I really can't. All I can think about is good things, and I want to just talk to you guys about it in detail, like spoilers and all, but I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I'm not ruining this book for you guys. Just read it. It's so underrated. I really don't see anybody talking about it. I have nothing but good things to say about it. They're both going to NYU, and they're aspiring to be authors, so they're in this class. Each student was assigned to write their own book, but they were causing mayhem in the class, and the teacher was just like fed up with them. So she's like, okay, either you guys are kicked out of this class or you're gonna have to get along and write this book together. They did not want to get kicked out of that class. That teacher is really good, so they needed to stay in that class, and oh my gosh, that's all I'm gonna say. Them being different genres, he is more of a literary fiction guy, and she is a romance girly. So put that together and you have a beautiful book. Amazing. I need to buy the physical book right now. I need to go get it and then I can annotate it. The backdrop is New York City. NYU is where they're going. So yeah, definitely recommend you guys pick it up. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the last book I read in 2025 so far. And literally as of yesterday, I finally finished this book. I finished this the 24th of June, if you guys were wondering. This book actually took me a long time to finish because I've been so busy. It's crazy how busy I've been. And that book is Summer in the City by Alex Astor. This book, I am so happy I finally finished. I finished it yesterday. I just dedicated my day to reading and I'm so happy I did. Wow, you guys, this book I rated thinking 4 stars. I believe I settled on a 4 stars, 4.5. If you love New York, pick this book up. Alex Astor basically wrote this book as a love letter to New York. Honestly. This book is about, oh my god, not me forgetting her name. This book is about Elle and Parker. Elle is a screenwriter and Parker is a billionaire. This is a billionaire romance, and I think this is the first billionaire romance I've ever read. And let's just say I'm gonna read more. Wow, I loved it. So fascinating to see how a billionaire lives and how they can afford anything they want. It's crazy. It's just, we're living different lifestyles, let me just say that. Actually read a little bit of this book in New York City. I think I only read up until page like 30, page 50 actually. I read less than 100 pages of this book in New York City, and wow, I wish I could have read this book in its entirety at New York because that is legit the perfect place to read this book, obviously, for obvious reasons. If you look inside the cover, we have this beautiful map of New York, and I was referencing this map a lot actually while I was reading this book because there are little places in actual New York that our two main characters may or may not travel to. It was just so cool to see them going around the city, and I was just there. So me literally sitting here yesterday reading this book, and like for example, they went to the summit. If you don't know what the summit is, it is a very cool place. That is just one example of one of the places they go in New York. It's right here. Parker kind of makes this deal with Elle. Hey, if you fake date me, I'll help you go to all the destinations that you want to go to in New York City to write your screenplay. Basically is what this book is. And at first they hate each other. And then guess what? They end up loving each other because this is a romance book, you guys. I'm sorry, that's not a spoiler. You know they're gonna fall in love. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. They go from lovers to enemies and then back to lovers again. And also, I think this book actually is going to turn into a rom-com, I think. Let me fact check myself really quick. I'll put my findings right here. But I believe this is actually going to turn into a movie, which I'm so happy about because this was so fun. This was so good. And if you are planning on going to New York, if you've been to New York, if you just love New York, pick this up. because you could just truly tell that Alex Astor loves New York. I believe she is from New York, and yeah, she just seems so sweet and genuine as a person. I follow her on Instagram, and I suggest you guys do too, because she is so sweet. Like, she has reposted my Instagram posts, not to flex, but kinda, because she's just so sweet. But honestly, if you tagged her in a story, she'll probably repost that. I'm 100%, like, I'm sure she will, because I have posted this book like 4 times and she has reposted every single one on her story, which I find so cool. Like, she's so on her social media game, which is so good, honestly, because that's how I found out about this book. I saw her post a TikTok about this book, and here we are. I wanted to buy this book ever since. But since I did take a long time reading this book, I honestly feel like I was in a little bit of a slump while I was reading this book. Not because of this book, I think. It was just mostly because I was so busy getting back from New York, and I was just so overwhelmed with so much stuff going on, going back to work, getting my life together again, just like, yeah. And it just sucks because unfortunately this was the book that I was reading during that time, and it took me a while to pick it back up, and nothing to do with the book. It was just more of a situation where it was my life. I was just busy. So for that, it is not a 5-star because I feel like it's my fault that this book is not a 5-star because I spaced it out too long. If I would have read this book faster, this book is definitely so good, so I think this is going to be a 4.5 star, but it's not 5-star because there was times where I was just letting it sit and I wasn't reading it, and it has nothing to do with the book. I think maybe where I can say, like, the beginning kind of was a little slow for me, just a little bit, and then once I got into, like, the middle, like, half of the book, like, to the end, like, I was really into it. So that's the only thing I can see where it was just a little slow in the beginning for me to get into. But other than that, like, I had a great time reading it, and honestly, billionaire romances are, for me, I'm going to read more. I have a lot of Lauren Asher on my bookshelves, so definitely going to pick those up. I think Anna Huang also has some billionaire romance books, so yeah. If you have any other recs, please let me know. Alright, you guys, we have come to the end of this video. Holy cow, I'm sweating. Reminder to drink your water, stay hydrated please, it is getting hot outside. All the books that I've read so far in 2025. That was it. That was a lot of talking. I hope you guys are still here. Oh my gosh, my battery's gonna die. Let's wrap this up real quick. Okay, that was really fun talking to you guys about all these books that I've read. I'm gonna try to do monthly wrap-ups, but I just did not read enough books in a month to do a wrap-up. So moving on, I hope I can read more books in a month so that I could do monthly wrap-ups, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really fun talking about all the books I've read so far this year. If you're still here, thank you so much. Please comment down below the tulip emoji. I'm just looking at my fake tulips right there. So comment a tulip emoji down below if you're still here. And I hope you guys have a very lovely day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.